Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1992 Toyota 4Runner SR5. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6, down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Guys, I'm excited to be driving the 4Runner because I actually haven't driven this old of a 4Runner before. I've driven a newer style 4Runner, I believe a 2019 Midnight Edition, but this is the OG. This is where the 4Runners were really starting to catch their stride, and I'm excited to drive it. Now, before we get on to the rest of the video, if you guys are interested in selling your car, please click the link in the description below. Cashforcars.com will buy your car with a salvage title, good title, running, non-running, whatever it is. Please go support the channel by clicking the link in the description below. You can get a fast and easy quote for free, and they will pick up your vehicle in less than 24 hours. So let's get back to that 3.0 liter V6. I'll put the horsepower and torque up on the screen. It makes about 150 horsepower, if I remember correctly, but you're seeing the correct numbers up on the screen. It's not peppy, it's not fast, it's not really, it's kind of a boat anchor of an engine. And actually, these engines do have head gasket issues. And the reason I bring that up is the fact that if you're watching this review, odds are you might be in the market for one of these. And I don't want you to get too excited when you see one for $400 on Facebook Marketplace, because odds are it has a blown head gasket. Unfortunately, that's just what happens with these 3-liter V6s from Toyota. I'll put the engine designation up on the screen for all you Toyota fans, blah, blah, blah. For everyone else, it's just a bunch of random gibberish. But like I said, it definitely makes torque. It feels decently torquey. The vehicle moves. But, you know, just driving it around, I really kind of have to bait it to really move all that much. We're warmed up here. We're out on the test track. We'll do a little mini baby pull here. Yeah, it's not, I mean, that was 28 miles an hour. It's not good. And there was a 4-cylinder offered in the 4Runner, so God bless whoever bought those. Like I said, paired to it, 4-speed automatic transmission. I'm not in love with it. As you just saw, it just shifted like mid-pull, so it's not really quite sure what it's doing, but hey, you know what? It's still working, so I give it props for that. Last but not least, of course, the 4Runner is 4-wheel drive. We'll talk about how to select that a little bit later on. But now let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of different gauges. On the left, I have my oil pressure and coolant temperature. Then I have my tachometer. Then I have my speedometer. And on the far right, I have my battery voltage and my fuel. These all appear to be rotating dials. They do just have the needles, but they look very cool. They look sort of out of, you know, an airplane, like an altimeter or something like that. I really like that aesthetic of it. And that's not the only airplane style thing we'll talk about today. On the steering wheel, on the left, I do have my cruise control, and on the right, I have my resume and cancel for the cruise control. Very basic steering wheel, nothing really too crazy. I don't actually have an airbag, which is interesting. To the left of me, I have my gauge dimmer switches, and on the door, I have my power windows, power locks, and power mirrors. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents. I do have my hazard and defroster switch to the left of those. I have my heating and air conditioning options, as well as a digital clock. What's funny is that the air conditioning and heating look very much like the 92 Toyota Hiace that I drove not too long ago. Actually, the day of this filming, I actually edited the Hiace video last night. There's a lot of similarities that I'm noticing between the Hiace and this, and the air conditioning and clock are definitely one of those. Then the radio has since been changed out because, like I say in every 90s video, every radio from the 90s was absolute garbage, so you gotta get something modern. Then I have a pull-out ashtray and cigarette lighter, pretty typical. And then we move on to the center console here. Now, the interesting thing about the center console is the shifters. So on the left, you have your shifter for the 4-wheel drive. 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. You can shift those however you like. And then I have the actual transmission shifter, of course, for park, reverse, neutral, drive, second, and low. Now, this is the other thing that looks very sort of fighter jet, is this sort of push button at the top shifter. The very 90s Toyota. However, I like the feel of it. It's got this big button on the top. When I put it into gear, it's in gear. Let's go to war. That's how I feel. Down below that, I do have my very typical Toyota transmission settings for Power or Normal. Very, very common. You'll find this in similar year Lexuses as well as Toyota products. And then I have two interesting buttons. I do have a window lock button, which is odd to find in the center console and not with the window switches on the door. That is interesting. But the other button, the cool button, is the rear window up and down. So I will show you that a little bit later on. The rear window on the tailgate actually does go up and down, which is really, really cool and sort of one of the centerpieces or calling cards of Toyota 4Runners. Even the modern ones do that, which is really, really neat. Then I have a singular cup holder and the seats. Now the seats are very, very comfortable. 90s cars, new comfortable seats. They're very, very soft to the touch. This interior has been very meticulously well kept. Very well done. This is a great example of a 4Runner. Great interior. The seats feel great. They're very comfortable, like I said. They are not power. They are not heated, but you don't need that in the 4Runner. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1992 Toyota 4Runner SR5. And the thing I forgot to mention up front is the fact that the floors are kind of interesting. The floors are actually, well, at least the floors feel high up. Maybe it's the fact that the seats aren't as tall, but like the seats aren't that far off the ground. It's very interesting, and I feel like I don't really get this in a lot of other SUVs. However, that being said, back seats are comfortable as well. I do have a ashtray down here, of course, as well as fan high and low, as well as my temperature down here that I can choose. Only red temperature, so only my level of heat, no AC back here. But that's very, very nice. Again, for 92, having a feature like that in a smaller, non-luxury oriented SUV, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Headroom is great. Legroom is decent. Like I always say, I'm 5'11" and not the smallest being in the world, so I fit back here perfectly fine. You know, I think you could fit 4 adults in here pretty solidly. What's interesting is that I see in here there's a sticker on this side of the vehicle because there is this third seatbelt from over here. And the sticker says, to prevent damage to the shoulder belt, make sure the shoulder belt passes through the hanger before folding the seat back down or returning it to the upright position. I've never had I don't think I've ever seen a sticker that's like, hey, don't break this, idiot. Kind of interesting. All right, so we're around the back of the Toyota 4Runner to show you guys something pretty cool. So you put the key in here, hold it, and it will lower the rear glass. That is very, very cool. Turn it the other way, and you can raise it. And yes, you can do partial raises if you just want that much, or that much, or that much, or that much. You can do that as well. Now, the interesting thing about this is that there is no external tailgate latch. And at first I thought that this was ridiculously stupid. However, the way that the tailgate comes down, the glass is now inside of here, which means that the glass would be up and there's no frame. So opening the tailgate with the glass up would just shatter your glass. So I understand why there's only an internal tailgate latch. There is no external tailgate latch. Plus, if you lock your vehicle, then no one can get into it because there's not even an external door handle for people to get into. Once it is open, a lot of nice space in here. It's essentially a Tacoma bed in here. You can lay those second row seats down, which is very, very nice. And then you have a cabbed pickup truck, essentially. I mean, really, if that's, if that's what you're into. One thing I'd like to point out on the exterior of the 4Runner that I pointed out on the 89 Camry is these door handles. They just feel so solid. Very, very solid construction. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I like the look of this older style 4Runner, a lot more square body than what we're used to seeing today. And I also like how small it is. I mean, this is sort of going back into the interior as well. I like how small everything feels. This isn't a big, huge vehicle. This is literally a Tacoma with a back on it, essentially. And Tacomas used to be small. We called them tacos, and we had fun, and now, I don't know. But I like the small size of it. I like the overall size. I like the feel. And that's what I'm getting at with this 4Runner. I like the size of it. These things are very off-road capable. Overseas, they actually sold these as the Toyota Surf, which actually came with a 2.4 liter diesel that was found in the Toyota Hiace that we just reviewed. So you could get these with a diesel overseas. Here, we only got the 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder. But these are very, very capable, very can-do vehicles. And that's why you buy a 4Runner. I love how light this feels. This isn't a light vehicle, but everything feels thin. Everything feels well built, very similar to the Toyota Camry, the 1989 Toyota Camry I recently reviewed, and the Hiace I recently reviewed. All these older Toyotas have such great build quality. Nothing in here is really rattling, beeping, squeaking. I don't feel like if I touch anything, it's going to fall apart or crumble. They're all very, very well built. And I like that a lot. That would attract me to a 4Runner. Are these plush, comfortable daily drivers? Not particularly, but they are very capable off-road. If you live somewhere where not every single road is paved, or if you live somewhere where there's, some off-road trails nearby, you want to hit the trails with your friends, you can absolutely do that in the 4Runner. And that's what I really, really like. These things are capable. They're decently fun. I wish that they had a little bit more pep. I wish that they weren't so sluggish off the line. But you know what? I guess beggars can't be choosers at this point. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ryan for letting me take out his 4Runner. I'm very glad that I was able to finally get into the driver's seat of one of these and really experience these things. So huge thank you to him. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.